in, everybody. It's Tuesday night here at the Cruisin Classics Retro 87 Series. Man, we're glad to have y'all here on V-Speed. Y'all better strap in. It's going to be an amazing, amazing race. So far, J-Cam has been leading the way. Ken Huber right on his tail, but other folks are right there ready to take this championship as, we move into round, it's round number 5. And we are at Darlington Raceway here tonight for the Southern 100 here on V-Speed. Well, we'll bring my co-announcer in here. My camera is completely... it's not working.
Well, that's a good look.
This is great. This is going real great so far. Now there I am. All right, now I'm caught up. What's going on, guys? It's been a while since I've been in the booth, and it shows. But we're ready to have some fun tonight. We're all dolled up, ready to go as we take these 87 cars around Darlington Raceway. Logan, how are we doing tonight? How are we feeling? Are we ready to take these cars and get us a couple Darlington stripes?
Absolutely. So pumped up for this one. This has been a race on the schedule I've had marked since the beginning. Darlington and NASCAR just goes hand in hand. And whenever it comes to this track and this practice session that we've been watching, it's going to be a wild race.
Yeah, SVG this past weekend, he said, they asked him, what kind of oval, what's your favorite oval? He said, Darlington. It's incredible, it's unique, and obviously super legendary. It's out in the middle of nowhere. You'd miss it if you were trying to find it. And it puts on some of the best racing in the world. Such a unique track for sure. Let's take a look at the schedule. We're 4 races in, and here we are. Take it away, Logan.
Yeah, we are back after our week hiatus here. Talladega finished up a couple weeks ago, and then we had our nice little break for the 4th of July. Hopefully everybody enjoyed that time. But we are back here for Darlington action, and we're going to follow it up with North Wilkesboro next week. In North Carolina then, of course, back to another just world-class track, Dover Downs, here in just a couple short weeks. Then we will settle the score at Old Atlanta in this 87 series, Eddie. It's, you couldn't really ask for a much better put-together schedule as a whole, but this back half is just incredible.
Yeah, we wanted to incorporate as much of that old feel as we could, and this back half is one I'm most excited about. Darlington this week, got North Wilkesboro, Dover Downs, Old Atlanta. All of those are just incredible old-style tracks, and these guys have been putting on hell of a show. I don't know if you've been watching, Logan, the last 4 weeks, but it has been incredible, just the racing that's been going on this track.
Oh, yeah, Darlington's always just top-class racing. So to see these out here, it's going to be fantastic. And as you mentioned just a little while ago, J-Cam does have the points lead right now with 705 on the board. Ken Huber within striking distance as well as Brandon Evans. Peter Cementa back there in 4th here with 617 points. And then the 99 of Brandon Wallace has a top 5 appearance in the standings with 578 points. Yeah,
no surprise to see J-Cam up there. He's obviously been the far and away favorite so far in the first half of the season. But that's the first half. It's down. It's over. We're moving on. Who do you think is going to step up for that second half? When I look down the list, Ken Huber's quietly been staying up there. Brendan Evans has flashes of brilliance. Peter is always up there. Then you see Brandon Wallace sneaking in. So I'm curious to see your thoughts of, will J-Cam continue that dominance, or do you think somebody else will kind of step up and kind of take over this series?
I think tonight is going to be really what settles in how we might see this back half of the schedule go. If J-Cam can, get right back into a hot streak, he's done really well in practice here tonight and already doing great in qualifying, it's going to be hard to knock him off that top step.
Yeah, I agree. It's not going to be too much. I mean, a couple bad races for J-Cam. You do have that one drop race. But a couple bad races from J-Cam, and tonight could be that night. It just really depends on who takes advantage when Jake does have sort of a bad race, I think, because right now he's got such a massive lead. But I still feel like Peter has been one of the faster drivers. I think we'll see Peter really take on a little bit of. Although I'm looking down the list, unless my eyes deceive me, I don't see Peter here at all tonight. So scratch that. Somebody else might make an appearance in the top 5. So yeah, bummer to not see him here tonight. I think he would be a favorite to win this one, but just a lot of really good drivers in these top 5. Let's take a look at the track. Darlington Raceway, we kind of talked a little bit about that. Kind of sits in the middle of nowhere in Darlington, South Carolina. And man, I'll tell you, just a very unique track. You can see it's sort of wider in turns 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. It's a little bit tighter. I think back in the day, I think it was actually flip-flopped. I think it's turn 1 was turn 3 and vice versa. So, but see, 23 to 25 degree banking, just depending on what turn. You'll be riding that wall right at the top. It says 1.5 miles, but we all know it's 1.36. Very unique across the board. But we got a grid to get to.
That we
say
do.
we
They're
jump
already
into
getting
it.
lined up down there.
Yeah, we running behind. Who's running this show? I tell you, it's unbelievable. Let's start your grid. Let's give out your pole award here. Jam Printing and Promotions pole award right across the top of Jake Ham, who has no surprise been up front almost every single race. And we got a newcomer, Dakota Floyd, in that Mac tonight, excuse me, Bill Elliott paint scheme. He's going to start outside of row number 1. Row number 2 is going to be Ken Huber with Nicholas Pressey. I don't know, Pressey. I don't know, is he French? I'm not sure. But he's going to start in 4th. In row number 3 is going to be Jesse Whittington, another driver we don't talk much about, but he is definitely good here, along with Ryan Pendleton in that 6th position. In 7th is going to be Kevin Orlando with Andy Kurtz right there in that 8th position. In 9th, going to be the boss man, Patrick Dravitt with Casey Jones, round out your top 10.
And just to throw it back here, Kevin Orlando, also a newcomer here tonight with Dakota Floyd. So interesting to see some new additions here mid-season. Row 6 is going to be Travis Bieber in the 114 machine next to the 808 of Brett Bieber. Timothy Wilms in the 86 starts out in row number 7 next to the 35 of David Calvert. Row 8 is the 085 of James Goshen and the 16 of Jamie Lipke. Row 9 is going to be Tyler White in the 63 machine with the 39 of Brandon Evans. And row 10, the 99 of Brandon Wallace next to the 71 of Daniel Parks.
21st, you got Alan Smith and Brock Price, and then Kevin Price bringing up the rear of the field. Well, that is your grid for tonight as we get ready to go racing, and this is what we're all here to see. And, well, it's going to be 80 laps of just nonstop action, I do believe. I think it's going to be pretty amazing as the pace car leads them down the backstretch. Jake Ham, Dakota Floyd going to be side by side. How important is it here, Logan, to get a good start as they're going to get single filed out here?
You know, track position is going to be key here. You don't really want to battle side by side. You can't get the run off the corner that you really need to, or the room to stay off of the wall if you're on the outside. But green flag in the air. We're going to see it drop for the first time here tonight as Jake Ham will lead the way down the front stretch into turn 1.
First lap in the books here in the Cruisin Classics Retro 87 Series, and Jake Ham takes his spot up front as he will lead the way with Dakota Floyd, Ken Huber, and Nicholas Pressey there in that 4th position. And you can see already there, Logan, nobody wasting any time to get single file. You do not want to be side by side here for much longer than maybe just one single turn.
Yeah, that's going to be very important as we're going to see this first real passing opportunity take place. It's the 52 of Kevin Orlando getting around the 48 of Andy Kurtz, and he's going to do it in exactly one corner like you said. Now it's Patrick Dravick's turn trying to make the same move on the other end of the racetrack now. Down on the inside here of turn 1, he'll get up to the middle lane. Now he moves all the way up in front of that 48 machine. Pass completed, and that is 2 positions lost for Andy Kurtz in the matter of 1 lap.
Yeah, and you see the momentum lost by Andy Kurtz just opened the door for the 07 to get that spot. So it's important. This is a lot like a road course in a lot of ways where track position is very important. And when you get an opportunity to make a pass, you better take it because it's important that you take it when you can get it, because it's dang near impossible, especially as the tires start to wear. These restarts are very important to get out there and get this track position as soon as you possibly can, because they will drive away. I mean, J-Cam in that clean air at the moment. He's got Dakota Floyd starting to kind of close in as they get real close to the wall, but it is easy to gap a whole field if you're out front. You got all that clean air, you got the clean track, but these cars move around quite a bit, so not as locked down as what we see with the next-gen car and other more modern cars, so clean air maybe not a huge advantage, but it still makes a huge difference here at Darlington.
And another thing to think about too is the long run. The longer green flag run you can get, the better odds you have for some of these drivers. Thinking back to the Rockingham and the Charlotte races, we had a lot of drivers that qualified in the middle of the pack, but they had the long run speed to go all the way up through it. So it really, if I'm one of those drivers, if I feel like I qualified poorly tonight, I'm hoping for those long green flag runs.
Yeah, and kind of speaking on that, Brandon Evans already up 8 spots from where he started. He started well back in the 17th position. He's already up to 8th or 9th actually right now, so up 8 spots as he has gotten around David Calvert, who's also on the move, up 3 spots. So we've got a few drivers that are moving up the field. Daniel Parks back in 16th, 17th, Brock Price, Alan Smith, all those guys are starting to make up a little bit of time. Then you got Jamie Lipke, Brandon Wallace, who have already come down pit road. So maybe a little bit of damage for those cars here early. You definitely don't want to have that.
I did hear some contact with the wall there on the initial start into turn 1. So possibly as Jake Ham's going to get into the wall here, Floyd's going to look to the inside. They're going to be side by side. Down the front stretch we go. Floyd gets a lap lead and the advantage into turn 1 on the low line, but Jake Ham hammers down, pushes around the outside, but contact made with Floyd gets him a little unsettled, but we're right back to where we were.
I love Jake Ham's aggressiveness. He knows how important it is to maintain that position. He fought hard. He knew he had the upper hand going into turn 1. Turn 1, you drive in, you go up the track to the wall. It's very wide and sweeping. The bottom just doesn't have the grip that you need. Dakota really needed to get that pass done before turn 1, and Jake just kind of stuck it in there and said, "Hey, you're gonna have to take me out to pass me." And Dakota not able to quite make that run just yet. And if you had to say the best place to make a pass here at Darlington, what do you think that is, Logan?
It's really hard to say. It's got to be on that entry. I'm with you on using that high line to your advantage, just waiting for somebody to go down to the bottom and shooting around the outside. It's going to cost you some tire wear, but you're going to have as much speed as you need to get clear coming down either the front or the back stretch. So really, entry of either side of this track would be your ideal spot.
Yeah, maybe get a run off the corner and try to back it up, kind of like what Dakota Floyd's doing right here. Get the run and try to at least be a nose ahead going into the corner. We saw right there, if you're side by side, the outside car is going to be the victor. And as the tires wear on, I'm curious to see if that high line continues to dominate or if anybody can make it work on the bottom. I'll be curious to see exactly how that plays out as this race comes on. As David Calvert down to the inside wall, it spins back up on the track right in front of the field. And David Calvert going to back up, almost makes contact with Alan Smith, but you can see that black smoke coming out of the 35 machine. He is toe up, as they say, and he's going to come down and get that fast repair.
That's quite early to have to use that fast repair. I saw just a lap before Casey Jones was having issues down the front stretch as well. So we'll see what happens here to the 35 of Calvert. Enters mid-corner there in turn 3, and you can just see it gets loose and starts to step out
Oh,
just hard into that wall. Not quite to where it gets parallel again with the front stretch. So that's quite the angle on this contact.
watch here. You can tell he is helpless. Nothing he could do once it started to come around. And I think he was just using that throttle to help rotate the car and trying to point it down from the top side. You see Alan Smith barely avoiding it. But yeah, just a little bit, maybe too much throttle, a little bit too much angle on exit. It's easy to cut down early at Darlington. You have to be patient and wait a little bit. But I think right there, it's just a product of this car and how this thing all plays out. We do have everybody coming down pit road. Unlimited tires here at the Cruisin Classics Retro 87 series. So after 12 laps at Darlington, we'll take a look at the weather real quick, and you can see 110 degrees, partly cloudy, and that wind 12 miles an hour, that could make a huge difference. So I think anytime you can come down, get some tires, I think that's going to be the call tonight.
Yeah, tires, if you've got unlimited tires, you might as well just go for it. Unless you're in a heated battle, you'd think strategy might come into play in the later runnings of the race, but even then, that's so terrifying as a leader to have to make that call, not knowing what your competitors are going to do behind.
Yeah, so 4 tires, fuel going to be the call for just about everybody. 80 laps here tonight, so I think it's important that you stay in. Dakota Floyd might have won the battle off pit road with a 20.7 stop versus J-Cam 22.2. Do you think there's a little bit of damage that might have been involved in that?
J-Cam did make contact with the wall, but it was more of a graze. That'd be the only thing I could think of. Maybe just had to bust out the hammer there, get that front fender back in line a little bit better than what it was. That could definitely equate to the issue here, but J-Cam, he'll be starting on the outside, so this is kind of to his advantage.
Yeah, if you're Dakota Floyd, you better get away. You're going to have to get a great start here as we do get the 1 to green. We get this thing back underway. I tell you, got to thank our sponsors. Let's go ahead and get these in here because we don't want to miss them at all. And, well, we're going to start with Lincoln Tech as they're coming around to take the green flag, although it's just a little bit of issue here getting lined up. But Lincoln Tech's mission is to provide superior education and training to our students for in-demand careers in a supportive, accessible learning environment, transforming students' lives and adding value to their communities. They are one of the largest automotive technology schools in the nation with 23 campuses. They are the title sponsor of the Spring Series and a very large part of Goat Locker Racing. And they're also going to be having a little car show where they're going to be giving, along with Goat Locker, giving away a sim rig to a deserving veteran. So Lincoln Tech, a huge, huge part of Goat Locker Racing. We get ready to go green. No lap down cars, so you'll see the single file start here. So we were talking about the inside and outside. What do we know? Because it's going to be single file here. And so Dakota Floyd's got all the advantages in the world here on this restart. Coming down off of turn number 4. Green flag is out as we're back racing here at Darlington.
Yeah, I kind of, it's been a while, Eddie. I forgot about the single file restart here. That's on me. I'll eat my hat on that one. But Dakota Floyd does exactly what he needs to do. We didn't even see Jake Ham get out to this much of a lead on the first lap, but just over a half second now down into turn 3. In too hot, though. He's going to make contact with the wall mid-corner, but it doesn't really affect him. He kind of just bounced off and picked up speed as he got back down, going down the hill. Jake Ham still half second behind now. And look at that pass for position. That's Patrick Drabick in the 07, making his way around Jesse Whittington for the number 4 spot.
Yeah, Patrick up 4 spots. He's moving quite a bit. He knows how to get around Darlington. He loves these cars. He knows how to drive them. So it's no surprise to see him start to make his way to the front. And with unlimited tires, it's going to be an interesting call. With only 80 laps in this race, there is a kind of an interesting mix of, like, how hard do you push? Do you push really hard, abuse the tires? Is it possible we go to the end from here? Can they make it on fuel? A lot of questions to be answered as we're closing in on just 60 laps to go. Unlimited tires, so there's really no tire strategy. If the caution comes out, you're going to come down. So why not just go? And I think that's what Patrick's doing right here. Brandon Evans, same way. Just, hey, look, I'm going to go. I'm going to push this car. I'm going to keep it balanced. I don't want to just completely crush the tires, get them heated up, get them slipping and sliding, but push the car, not just save and try to get that track position. We'll see if it pays off. It's really hard to tell. We haven't been here in these cars in this combo, so we really don't know how it works, but you can see Patrick really closing up on these top three.
Yeah, that gap is getting smaller and smaller, under a half second now, back to Ken Huber. And our top three are under a half second blanket themselves. So, it's tight up here in the top four right now. And it's really going to come down to who manages those tires the best. And I'm with you. It's send or no send, and you might as well just send it.
Well, I can tell you, the racing in this season has been incredible all throughout the field, but up front, it has been amazing. And these cars they just offer great racing because you can lean on people, you can beat and bang, and it doesn't just, it's not knocking the knocking the toe out really easy. There's really nothing to break. As Jake Ham's going to get into the wall, that's going to open the door for Ken Huber. And these guys, I know Jake's not here, and I will say congratulations to Jake and his wife, the normal announcer that we have here on Tuesday nights and Wednesday nights here at Goat Locker. A brand new child into the world. So quick shout out to Jake. We miss him, but I know he is right where he wants to be. But he's always talking about beef. And I can tell you, Ken Huber, Jake Ham got a little beef. And Logan, if you're not racing around each other, you're not racing hard like these guys are, you never have beef. So if I don't have beef with somebody, I kind of question whether or not I'm racing hard enough. If I'm driving as hard as I need to. And these guys have a little beef only because they're always around each other. And if you're always around each other, it's very likely that you're going to make contact at some point.
Yeah, if you're next to the dude that you're, in the most heated battle with week after week, it'll naturally grow that type of relationship where, it could be banter, of course, where we typically see it. It's never too serious behind the scenes, but absolutely. If you're not in a conversation of somebody else's team at some point, like, man, I really can't stand that guy, you're just not driving hard enough.
Yeah, it's funny. It's kind of like the Joey Logano scenario of real life racing, where all these guys are really good guys off the track, but you get some of them on the track and they are just hellions. It's tough. Maybe I'm one of those guys. I don't know, but when you get on track, it changes you. As Dakota Floyd,
he needs
to stay on track. He's getting up into the wall. That's going to slow him up a little bit. Ken Huber going to try to capitalize. The Dakota barely making contact. One of the benefits of running up at the wall at Darlington is if you make contact, it's not a major hit. But look how close they're getting to the wall there in this corner as you're trying to drive down off of turn number 2 and get a great exit down the backstretch. But yeah, a lot of good beef. We love beef. We love competition. If these guys didn't want it, they would never get mad at each other. These two raced the GT3 race, Ken Huber, Jake Ham, and Huber said after the race, well, see how I did that? We raced and I didn't make contact with it. Throwing a little shade at Jake Ham. These guys have been beating and banging all season long, and looks like they got a new fella to chase is Dakota Floyd coming in here, taking the lead, and has been leading here for the last 11 laps. But Huber Ham not letting him get away.
And it's funny to talk about drivers with beef because I know I've got experience on track with Dakota Floyd. I know how fast he is, and he's one of those guys that can get under your skin as they go around you just 20 mile an hour faster at some points, it feels like. And I will say the one thing I've never seen him drive are these 87 cars, between racing with him or broadcasting other leagues that he's a part of. It's I've yet to see this 24 car in an 87s series. So I'm really interested to see how he can hold his own here in the back half of the schedule, because tonight is already a great showing.
Yeah, first race in Goat Locker for Dakota Floyd. You can see after 12 laps, we got about 12 laps on the first set of tires, so we're kind of in new territory with the tires and how folks are abusing them or not. Who's saving the tires. And right now you can see Dakota Floyd not quite able to get away. Ken Huber, Ham sort of keeping in tow. Patrick Drabick dropping back just a little bit. And then here we go. The 39 and the 52 have been going at it. We're going to go back here for a little bit of racing. Back in the 5th position, Brandon Evans now up 12. positions from where he started, but the 52 ain't playing around. He's all over the back bumper.
That's that other newcomer, Kevin Orlando Jr., trying to make his way up into the top 5, as we've now got that Brandon Evans driver cam up on your screen. As always, with that full motion sim rig, it really just helps display how bouncy these tracks are, just how much you have to handle this car too. Look at the wheel he's got to put into it, and the micro corrections just back and forth. You don't really want to necessarily saw the wheel back and forth. That can just chew up those front tires. But whenever you've got a situation with a rig like this, I think it's just inevitable.
I'll tell you what, let's take a lap around the track with Brandon Evans, and let's see what a lap around Darlington looks like. If he crosses the start-finish line, he is going to drive down, put that left side down on the apron, let the car push up to the top of the track. You see he's trying to give it a lot of wheel. Now he's trying to wait on the perfect time to get that angle off of turn 2. It's so important because that turn will throw you against the outside wall if you don't make that exit. Then 3 and 4 is a lot tighter. You have to slow way down. The speeds drop down to 120 miles an hour. As you see, he's sort of running sort of a lower line and then trying to pick the throttle up. Momentum is incredibly important off of turn 4. You've got to carry that speed because you carry it all the way back into turn 1. And every little bit of speed you don't have off turn 4, you can't carry into 1. And that is just time loss. And that compounds over time. And that's why the guys who are up front are the ones that are up front.
Probably the best breakdown that we could ask for right there. That was a great lap ride along, but the battle up front is starting to heat up. Dakota Floyd now has Ken Huber closing in on that back bumper. Jake Ham right in the picture as well. He has not gotten far behind. So it's still a 3-horse race up at the front of this thing, and I don't know. All of them seem to be managing these tires pretty well. You see kind of a modified line there from Ken Huber as he drops it down to the apron just a little bit sooner than the other 2 drivers in turns 1 and 2. He's going to follow pretty, well, same thing. Keeps it right on the middle line. Lets Dakota Floyd get up to the wall. Jake Ham behind kind of stays in line a little bit higher than Huber. So all 3 drivers running slightly different lines from each other.
Yeah, and 1 and 2, you got to be right at the top to get that run off of turn 2, like I said a few minutes ago. But in 3 and 4, you can actually run the bottom or the top, or maybe a little bit in between. So it's awesome to see these guys really taking advantage of that. And Dakota Floyd's sort of taking that Peter spot. We're missing Peter here tonight. Don't know where he's at, but we're definitely missing him out there on the track. He is a heck of a race car driver. So we'll just take out Peter. We'll put in a equally as talented driver as Dakota Floyd, apparently. And he is making some waves up here with Ken Huber and Jake Ham, who are your championship favorites, as they start to reel in a little bit as David Calvert coming out of pit road after some repairs. He's going to go a lap down. But still waiting on somebody to make a move. Ken Huber, I don't know about you, Logan, and we both have been watching the races all season long, but Ken Huber, not as aggressive as Jake Ham, not as aggressive as Peter and maybe Brandon Evans and others. He is really calculated. Now, that has played out in his favor as he is second in the points, just 50 points back. We are using the 1987 point system, so 50 points really not that much. But he's not aggressive. He doesn't push it hard. Do you think that hurts him or helps him when it comes to winning these races?
I always look at these things as a consistency type of basis. If you can stay consistent, like we've seen Ken Huber, you're going to get good results. And one of the best things I've ever heard about motorsports is if you're consistently in the top 5, the win will come. It's just a matter of time. It'll be there whenever you've got everything put together. You put together the perfect drive. And, I have to say, Ken Huber right now is looking like he's putting together a damn fine drive, as he was just all over the back bumper of Dakota Floyd there in 1 and 2. Recognized the potential risk and not even halfway through the race yet to possibly take himself out, or Dakota Floyd backed off the bumper, but he's still right there. It's smart moves like that that get championships won.
Right, and he's got to make this move as Dakota Floyd again contact with the wall. The 40 nowhere to really go off of turn 2 there, but you know these tires are worn. The amount of lines you can run is sort of limited here, so Ken's going to have to play it smart here. I think if he takes the first opportunity he gets and he gets side by side with Dakota and doesn't complete the pass, well, Jake Ham is going to have all of the momentum in the world to take advantage of the situation. But so Ken's got to be smart about when he decides to make this move. We've seen Dakota Floyd get in the wall a few times. You think maybe Ken Huber just waiting for that moment that he gets stuck, he can scoot up under him and take the lead.
Absolutely. That is the way to do it right now. Is, you know, it's been 3 or 4 times now through this race that we've seen Floyd into the wall. So again, I've experienced other types of racing with the driver of the 24, but I've yet to see how he handles these 87s. So it's, although in a great position, how's that fall off going to treat him? It's entirely different from the next generation of race cars. So we'll see how he handles it through the rest of the race.
Yeah, everybody started in the 32-second bracket. Low 32s, now running low 34. So 2 seconds is here. It goes. Dakota Floyd gets loose off of turn 2. Now Ken Huber down to the inside. But can he make it? Can he make it stick down to the bottom? He's really pushing it. Almost make a little bit of contact. This is a tough spot. Days of Thunder says nobody goes to the outside on turn 4 at Darlington, but Dakota Floyd does. He gets the run. He's got a nose out ahead, and I think he's got the preferred line going into turn 1, although Ken Huber grabs the apron, going to do a little slide job, and he is going to take that position. Ken Huber up to the lead. He's going to make contact with the wall. Down goes Dakota Floyd again.
And we're nearly 3 wide on the backstretch of Darlington. Now Jake Ham is all over the back bumper. He'll back out of it as he almost makes contact with the wall, but puts the hammer right back down, trying to keep it ahead of the 24. Dakota Floyd goes from hero to 3rd place with just a matter of 1 mistake. Ken Huber gets the advantage here. Jake Ham now up to 2nd. And look at this, that 2nd pack. We've got Brandon Evans, Jesse Whittington, Patrick Drabick. They're all starting to catch up. Apologize. Drabick not quite in the picture yet, but Evans and Jesse Whittington both right there.
Yeah, and they caught up a ton there during that battle. But they have been slowly reeling them in anyway. These guys running low to mid 34s. Brandon Evans, Jesse Whittington were still in the 33s. They just crossed over to the 34s, so a good bit faster. Dakota Floyd last time a couple tenths slower than the top 2. You can see that's Casey Jones there on brand new tires in that 34 machines. He goes around, he's going to spin it down to the inside right in front of Jamie Lipke, and he's going to smack the inside wall. He's going to exit out immediately. No caution on the speedway, but a hard hit there for Casey Jones is, my goodness.
Just big time loose there, and side by side. Lucky he didn't collect anybody else. That could have been travesty for a couple drivers, but you know, we keep it clean and green here as Huber, Ham, and Floyd are starting to increase that gap again over 4th place Evans. And it looks like they're being a little bit more conservative now off of the corner exits, trying to keep it off the wall a little bit more. She could probably about 3 or 4 feet instead of right on top of the wall. Here we go back a little bit further with Whittington now. He's under attack, but that's going to be some fresh tires right behind him, I believe. That was the car that just came out of the pits and had Casey Jones across the nose.
Yeah, that's Brett Bieber in the 808. He came down pit road a couple laps ago. Got those fresh set of tires, trying to make up a little bit of difference. But you can see, even with fresh tires, it is difficult to make these passes as he's going to go to the inside of Jesse Whittington. Jesse has been saving his tires. I've seen him let quite a few folks go and early in this one, and he is starting to get the reward for doing that as he is now closing in on Brandon Evans, who has just made a huge charge up through the field. Obviously had to punish his tires a little bit more than maybe Jesse had to, but now Jesse on the attack, as both of those guys have already gotten around Patrick Drabick and trying to move themselves up towards the leaders. They're just under 2 seconds away from the lead pack, and they are running a lot of times faster, if not exactly the same as Ken Huber. So these guys have plenty in the tank. Yeah, Dakota Floyd's struggling here right now.
The 24 starting to fall off quite a bit more. Brandon Evans now within striking distance, just a quarter of a second away from the back bumper. I think maybe all that contact with the wall might have had a small effect on the handling of the 24.
Yeah, it's hard to say. We don't know enough about Dakota to really know his driving style. I think to Lucas Lyon, who can put down some fast lap times, but it's just notorious for burning the tires up. So did Dakota push a little bit too hard to try to keep himself in front of Huber and Ham, and now starting to pay for it, or was it that contact? It's really hard to say. We don't know much about him. We know that Ken and Jake are incredibly good at doing both. As I think Jake Ham just got into the wall pretty hard. We'll go back on the replay real quick and see, because he lost a lot of time there, and he is losing some time as
Floyd's into the wall too.
Yeah, so these guys starting to fall off pretty quick here after 32 laps on these tires.
Brandon Evans, Jesse Whittington both going to try to take advantage. Evans already ahead of Dakota Floyd. Whittington still stuck on the inside. And it's going to be a drag race down the front stretch for these two. Into turn one we go. And Floyd backs out of it, lets the 94 go by. And now we've got the 808 just waiting for an opportunity to start putting these fresh tires to use. Brett Beaver still stuck behind all of this action. And here we go with a little bit more up front. Ken Huber making his way around the 80 machine. That'll put a little bit of distance there between Huber and Ham. Lap traffic could be in effect on Jake Ham. The 85 needs to get around this one quickly.
Yeah, they have caught the back of the field. Oh my goodness, and Kevin Price gets into the wall. And I mean, nowhere for Jake Ham to go there when he comes back down, and Price still in the wall here as he's let everybody go. Got some significant damage to that right front. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately there. Let's go back and check that again, see if we got a little better. You see Kevin Price gets in the wall, comes down, makes contact with Ham, and then holds it up against the wall. Smart move there for Kevin Price. But that, if you're Jake Ham, that is terrifying. It always seems to happen that way. It seems like when you're going to lap somebody, they're having to come off their line, do something a little bit different. It always seems to cause a little bit of mayhem.
Luckily, kept it straight, though. Again, fantastic job by Kevin Price to keep it up on the wall, let the rest of the lead pack cars get by without much issue. I saw, I believe that was Brandon Evans had to dive down a little bit. Jesse Whittington might have had to cut his line a little bit short, but all in all, through and through without any damage. Brandon Evans now holds on to the third spot, up 14 positions. And mentioning earlier those drivers that might have had that poor qualifying effort, this was the driver I was thinking of. The driver of the 39, Brandon Evans, starting back in the 17th spot, was just unnatural from what we've seen from the beginning half of the season. So it's good to see him get up here to a podium position for the time being. Let's see if he can make his way up to that number one spot, though.
Well, he is going to be under fire from the 94 of Jesse Whittington, who has been hounding him lap after lap for the last 3 or 4 laps. He's going to get a great run here. We'll see if he can complete the pass. Not quite there. We'll see how committed he is to trying to take this spot. He's been very conservative, actually going to back out just a little bit and give Brandon Evans that space. But you can see on the exit, the 94 has the speed off the corners. And, this is good for Ken Huber because they were running him down. Now that they're battling, I think that'll allow Ken to kind of break away a little bit. But Jesse Whittington got a lot of speed here. And it seems like maybe Brandon Evans is kind of stalled out.
And it very well could. We mentioned having to use those tires as much as he could to get to this point. What would benefit him right now is a caution, but all the other drivers out here, I think they're pretty happy with this long green flag run as Kevin Price is finally going to bring it down pit road, get that damage taken care of, get back out on track. We also have an update from James Goshen. The situation with his caution was a hardware failure, it appears. Computer shut down on him, Eddie.
Well, it looks like Kevin Price went down the wrong pit road. Not quite sure. I think he might have wrecked down into the pit road because he was definitely in the wrong side. Now going to make it down into this pit road. Actually going to get a black flag for speeding. So, man, just one little moment there for Kevin Price, and it is all coming apart. But he's going to finally get it down in pit road. We go back to this third place battle. Whittington still having that patience, but they're about 2 seconds away, kind of stabilized now that they're single file and not battling. Ken Huber not getting away. I would know Whittington is just trying to plot that moment. That's the beauty about Darlington. It's just so unique in that way that you have to be smart. It obviously is the track too tough to tame, but it is so important that you drive the track, you make the right decisions. You don't want to be too aggressive. As Brandon Evans going to get a little bit loose off the corner, and then Whittington is there. And he's going to get to the outside line. I think that's going to be the preferred groove. The 39 going to gas it up in the middle of the corner. Do they have enough tires to make this side-by-side off the corner? Little bit of contact maybe, but they are side-by-side across the line. Jesse Whittington will take over the third position, and he should have it here in turn one, and he does, and able to make that pass without much issue at all.
I really thought that 94 might have sent it into turn one a little bit too hot, but did a great job riding that wall all the way around. Pass completed for the 94 and a visit to the top three. Only up 2 positions. Whittington having a relatively quiet night, but it's working out here as we are well past the halfway mark. Coming around here to start lap 55 this time by. It's going by pretty quickly here, Eddie. It's been a clean and green race, only 1 caution so far. And, something to mention now that we do have a couple lap cars on the track. We have introduced a wave around here. We haven't had that previously, so that'll change things up on some of these restarts potentially. If these drivers elect to take that wave around, get back on the lead lap. Tyler White, Kevin Orlando, both 1 lap down. Brett Bieber, Brock Price 2 laps down, as well as Alan Smith and Kevin Price now 5 laps down. So could change things.
Absolutely. For sure. It was a decision made by the admin team, aka me, don't want to be too oppressive. We want to try to stay true to the 87 rules, but we also know that the people are doing this for fun. And, the rule without a wave around, you're just always kind of stuck there. We're not doing the lucky dog, but I think the wave around just at least offers you the ability to get back on lead lap and see Kevin Price back out on the track. And, oh, my goodness, it must have had some contact there that we didn't see. And it was contact with Jake Cam. The camera just really wasn't showing it. We got almost 3 wide here for second place as Whittington, the cameraman's just not paying attention. Is Whittington trying to take over that second spot, but Ham fighting hard, obviously frustrated with the lap traffic. And here they are side by side, Logan, for second place.
And it's a big dive into the corner for Jake Ham on the outside. Jesse Whittington trying to hold on. Taking a look back here on my screen, it was contact there with Kevin Price coming out of turn 4 that held up Jake Ham and started this whole sequence. So good to see a recovery. It doesn't look like it affects him too bad, but definitely slowed down the progress he was trying to make, as Ken Huber will now be out over 3.5 seconds back here on the Cruisin Classics instant replay. We'll come down the back stretch here. You see Kevin Price just up ahead. Apologies, the front stretch here. It'll be in turn 3 and 4. It's about midway between the corners. It just seemed like Kevin Price, a little bit of an issue there. Back caution on the live, we've got a caution on the track. Taking a look at this, though, Kevin Price sends it in just a little too hard, makes contact with, I believe, the 71 of Daniel Parks. Makes contact with the wall afterwards, comes back down on the track. Just unfortunate for Jake Ham. Right in the way.
And it looks like this caution was brought out by Tyler White. So apologies it took so long to get to that darn replay. We'll see if we can find out. Oh, goodness, he's already tore up. So here with Tyler White in that number 63. And he has got 43 of Brock Price behind him. And he's going to make contact with that wall. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my Lord.
Hard contact. We'll go back and check that one more time from the onboard. Just the danger of not getting the drive. He's going to probably turn down a little bit too early, give it too much throttle. You can see he's already in trouble right here. And then once you start to hit the brakes, it's too late. Boom. Massive hit for that 63 machine.
Yeah, real lucky it didn't roll over on top of the barriers there. At least he'll be able to drive it back around and go use that fast repair, get back out on the track. As Tyler White completely destroys that car. But here comes the entire field now. Ken Huber, Jake Ham, Jesse Whittington, Brandon Evans, Dakota Floyd in your top 5 right now. Let's see if that order changes at all. As I believe that's Dakota Floyd in the background. No, apologize. That was another driver that's already into the box. Here we go. Who's got the fastest pit crew, Eddie?
Yeah, this is super important. We're down under 20 laps to go. Track position going to mean everything. And you know it's going to get wild as it's closer to the end. You want to be out front. You get a string of cautions. You want to be that lead car. Who is going to get the lead? Huber comes down with it, drops the jack. Here comes the 40. Nobody even close as Ken Huber's going to take the races for second as they're 4 wide crossing. My goodness. And I don't know who got it.
This one, we'll just have to wait and see how it settles down the backstretch. That was 3 cars all inside of each other there. As there's no contact coming out of the pits immediately like that. But Brandon Evans was the first one into the box of this group, and it looks like he's going to get 1 spot. I think he'll come out here in 4th ahead of Jesse Whittington. But I think it's going to shake out to be Ken Huber holding on to the lead, Jake Ham in 2nd, Dakota Floyd in 3rd. Brandon Evans does get that 4th spot. Jesse Whittington will fall back to 5th.
Yeah, look at this. 4 cars just all on top of each other exiting pit road. That is crazy. All right, well, now we set the stage. 18 laps to go here in the Cruisin Classics Retro 87 Series, the first race of the second half. And Ken Huber still looking for that race win. You're going to see quite a few wave arounds here, so we just talked about it. And so I don't know what's going on. They should have gotten the wave around already.
Not quite sure what's happened up here with the front of this pack. They should be well out of the picture already, trying to catch back up to the back half of the field. Is pretty sure the pace car lights are already off.
Yeah, some obvious confusion up here. So we're going to see. This is going to be wild. So strap in. We don't know what's about to happen. As, yeah, I mean, should be some wave arounds, but the car's just not going. But we're getting ready to go green here. So this is going to be wild. Green flag is out. I don't know what happened there. But now Ken Huber, instead of having the lead, is going to have a whole bunch of cars to go around as they're going to get side by side. Jake Ham is going to take advantage of it, gets by the 40. And now here comes Huber. Is there wrecking right in front of it? Kent Price in the wall. And Ken Huber!
Huber immediately involved.
Yeah, the 04 makes contact. Ken Huber exits out immediately.
We got more piling in down in turn 3.
As there was a
man,
lot
Jake Ham's also wrapped up in it. He is destroyed down there on the apron of turn 3.
Unbelievable. We've got to go back and kind of look at multiple angles of this. I mean, we knew it was going to be trouble. You can already see it already started. But, I mean, Jake Ham being aggressive here. He got lap cars in front. He's just giving Nicholas Pressey a few bumps. And then up in front of him, Price gets into the wall, and that just started that checkup. As my goodness, they just kept piling in, trying to make it through. Ooh, who was that? That was a Bieber. That was Travis Bieber. Makes huge contact. Go on board with him.
So here's another thing to think about. All those cars that were in front of our race leaders, since they were going for that wave around, they were all on old tires. None of them had the opportunity to pit. So that's exactly what just caused this.
Yeah, unbelievable. That is wild. Well, I don't really know what to say. I don't know what happened there. You know, we're not in the actual race to be able to know. We don't hear any communication. I don't know if any communication was given as far as what to do for these waiver rounds, but apparently iRacing, you know, I would assume you would just, maybe let them by and let them go around and clear any black flags. But obviously, the way that they were just kind of staying there, it seemed like iRacing was telling them not to go around. So yeah, I'm not really sure what was going on there. But that has definitely changed this whole race up. Is now Ken Huber, who was trying to get his first win of the season, now out of it with 15 laps to go, and that's going to inherit the lead. Dakota Floyd, Jesse Whittington, Brandon Evans, now Patrick Drabick, your top 4, and Timothy Williams, somebody we haven't talked about here tonight, is going to be your top 5.
Well, Eddie, while we've got a break in the action, how about we give a quick shout out to a couple more sponsors here? We'll start out with Save 22, of course. Save 22 is a 501c3 organization dedicated to preventing suicide among veterans, active duty personnel, and first responders. Our unwavering mission extends to 4 critical pillars: shield, assist, volunteer, and educate. Save. You can check them out at save22.vet right there on your screen. See what they're all about, behind the scenes action. And let's go ahead and shout out our title sponsor here on Tuesday nights, Cruisin Classics. Cruisin Classics is located in Columbus, Ohio, and they have a beautiful 56,000 square foot showroom filled with hundreds of unique automobiles. There is something for everybody out there in their hand-picked selection of muscle cars and hot rods. Come on down to visit the facility today or check out their website at cruisinclassicsinc.com.
Well,
proud to have them here as a sponsor of the Retro Series as well. Just so cool to have them on the title of this one, considering we're throwing it back to 1987.
Perfect sponsor pairing for sure. Dakota Floyd, you can see the lap cars down on the inside, and on the outside is the lead lap cars. So we're going to have an interesting restart here as Dakota Floyd, the 71, is actually going to pull down and just let the lead cars go. Look at that. A real awesome racing by those lap cars, just saying, hey, we don't want to be a part of it. But we're green flag, 13 laps to go, and now Dakota Floyd inherits the lead. He was one of the faster drivers on fresh tires, and now he gets a chance to kind of run that back, as he kind of burned his tires up the last time, but there are not enough laps to burn these tires up, as Jesse Whittington, though, putting a lot of pressure on him here early.
Yeah, it's time to just put the hammer down and get every bit of rubber that you can out of these tires. Dakota Floyd did a great job of doing that earlier. About the same length of the run, too. We saw him, I think, extended out to about 20 laps before he started to fall off. So this is perfectly in his wheelhouse. But it's not going to be easy. Jesse Whittington's going to stay right there on the back bumper. He's going to take a look to the inside now. As we got contact with the wall. Back behind, that'll certainly be another caution, as there's about 10 more cars to come around and about 50-mile-an-hour difference on speed, but it's not going to. Dakota Floyd stuck on the outside. Whittington on the inside. Drag race down the front stretch. Evans looking to take advantage, sticking right on the back bumper of Floyd, and Patrick Drabick laying in wait for one of these drivers to make a mistake.
Yeah, J-Cam just runs through the 99. I don't know what happened there if the 99 got loose, but that's where that contact happened. No caution, though, as J-Cam probably wanted. But now Whittington takes over the top spot. Dakota Floyd back down to the bottom. He knows, I mean, look at the train of cars behind him. He cannot give up this spot at all. He's got to fight for every inch of this racetrack, or he might be fifth before you know it. Look at Timothy Williams back there. He's like, please, y'all just go ahead and wad it up. I'm going to take this dub. As Whittington drives it down in the corner, he will take the top spot. As here comes Evans around the outside. Dakota Floyd in trouble, trying to make it work. Oh, they both get a little bit loose. Almost make contact. Brandon Evans has to lift. Now he's under fire for Patrick Drabick.
Drabick gets a big run down into turn 3, but Evans keeps him low on the corner. They're both going to move slightly up the track as Dakota Floyd's starting to put down some room here between himself and that battle. This is what he wants to see in that rearview mirror, so he can solely focus on catching back up to the 94. Evans and Drabick get themselves lined out. We're back to single file through the top 5.
Yeah, and I tell you what, Jesse Whittington laying down some heaters. 32.575 last lap. Dakota Floyd 33.1. We'll see this time if they have anything for this 94. As they come off of turn 4, Brandon Evans looking down to the inside, trying to take a look here. He's going to get close, not quite crossing the line. Brandon Evans, the fastest car on the track that time by, and he is trying to make a pass as Dakota Floyd gasses it up on the outside. Still enough tread to make that work, gets the car yawed out and able to hold on to that spot. But I'm going to tell you right now, it seems like Dakota Floyd is going to be on defense for the rest of this race.
And that is exactly what he's going to have to be perfect at, is holding back that 39 as he takes another look here on the inside. Corner exit number 4 down the front stretch. He's there at that rear quarter panel to the door into 1. He gets it slowed up just enough to keep it off the 24. 24 into the wall. This is going to give Evans that opportunity to get that run. He gets up ahead, but doesn't keep it off the wall, barely. Dakota Floyd back to third. Evans now holding that second place spot. Whittington out over a second ahead of all of them.
Contact with the 07. Dakota Floyd just wrecking into the corner. He's still wrecking as the rear tires are heated up. We'll see if there's a little bit of beef there, but I think the 07, I'm not sure if Dakota just hasn't lit the rear tires up because he was out of shape there the whole corner. He's still out of shape as the 07 trying to go down to the inside. They are side by side. I'll tell you what, Dakota Floyd not letting that scare him at all as here comes Jay Cam. Racing mad. He's going to take it 3 wide down into the corner. The 07, nothing doing, as that's going to open the door for Ham to try to take over that third spot. All the while, Jesse Whittington just driving off into the distance. Brandon Evans slowly catching about a 10th a lap, but I don't think he's got enough time. If you're Jesse Whittington, you're just saying, guys, please hold it together. No caution.
Well, caution is to the wind for the 85. That was a huge sin down into turn 3. And I expect to see the same here as he takes a look to the inside, but he's going to fall back up to the top and nearly sends it to the bottom. Woes it up just enough to keep it off the bumper of Dakota Floyd. Floyd slides up the racetrack, opens up that door again on the bottom. And here we go. Jake Ham's going to try to make the run. He's at that quarter panel again to the inside in turn 1. Nearly contact, maybe a little bit of contact actually there. Sends Floyd up the track, and he's going to get the slide job completed before the exit of turn 4. Jake Ham to the top 3.
This is unbelievable racing. These guys are going all out here at the end of this race with 5 laps to go, 5 cars under a blanket. And right now you can see Patrick Dravick just trying to make something happen here. He's been trying to get around Dakota Floyd, going to lose a spot to Jake Ham. Now Dravick going to have to be a little aggressive here to get around that 24, who is, after lighting those rear tires up, has really been doing a good job of hanging on to it. But time is running out. If you plan on getting to the front, I think it's definitely far too late for Jake Ham right now. And Dakota Floyd actually concedes the position, I do believe, or just tried to slow up a little bit better than the 07. They go side by side. I thought Dakota was giving him the spot. I think he was just trying to get a better exit. And
I think Floyd actually got loose. I think Floyd actually got loose out of 2 and came down on the backstretch. That opened up the door to the outside for Dravick. And now Dravick is going to get completely clear. Floyd tries to bring it down to the bottom of the track, gets a little bit better speed here on exit, but it's not going to be enough to challenge for it once more. Jesse Whittington loving what he's seeing in the rear view. All the side-by-side action. Just over 2.5 seconds back. He's going to come around here for 2 to go.
Yeah, he has been, Jake Ham's been a couple tenths faster, but he's just not, he doesn't have enough time. He needs a caution. At this point, he doesn't need a caution because if caution comes out, the race is over. And, right now, Jesse Whittington in control of this race. We'll go back here to this battle that continues on. Dakota Floyd continuing to play defense, but saving his tires, saving his stuff, and it has played out to his favor. White flag is out for Jesse Whittington. 1 more lap to go to get this win at Darlington.
All he has to do is keep it clean here on the exit of 2. Then it's just down to 3 and 4. The back stretch never felt so good. Into 3 we go. Jesse Whittington will get this victory as long as he keeps it off the wall. Perfectly executed checkered flag in the air, and the 94 takes it home at Darlington.
Yes, sir. A little fist pump there from Jesse as, takes advantage of a fantastic long run in the middle part of the race. The hectic stuff that went on that restart, he was able to survive and then able to take advantage there and take the lead and never gave it up. So your winner at Darlington, his first win of the season, Jesse Whittington takes the top spot. And he'll go burn it down here on the front stretch and celebrate. Man, what an awesome race. I mean, this season has delivered every single week. These cars are just unbelievable. And these drivers, the car is one thing, but the drivers have to put on a show. And every single week, it just seems like these guys just love racing these cars, and they put on a great show. And tonight was no different. Exciting from start to finish.
And only the 3 cautions on the night, only 6 lead changes. But incredibly enough, the leader was never safe until the last 5 laps here with Jesse Whittington getting out over second place. But throughout the entire rest of the race, the leader, whoever it might be, was constantly under fire from somebody.
Yeah. Obviously, one of the bigger stories of the night, Ken Huber going for his first win of the season, had it in the bag. Weird restart. Just iRacing race control doing something weird. And, unfortunately for him, he's going to come home in that 17th position. So disappointing night for Ken. His lead is going to grow, or his Jake Ham's lead is going to grow just a little bit. So bummer to see that happen. But just unbelievable race. Congratulations, Jesse Whittington. Let's take a short break. We'll be back in just a few minutes. We'll go through results and we'll talk to your top 3. So don't stay there. Don't go anywhere.
We're not a company, but we'll give you a chance to work where there's always a challenge. We'll give you opportunities to learn, to develop, to perfect skills that you thought were beyond your reach. We'll help you build a career that can reward you for the rest of your life. We're not a company, we're your country. We're the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marines. We're the Armed Forces. It's a great place to start.
This bud's for all that you do.
Today a landscaper, tomorrow a college student. Yep. I finally took your advice, Mike.
You taught him.
Already you're smart.
All you knew. They say he's a lot like you. Yeah, you make America work, and this bud's for you.
Here's to you, Beechwood Age, for that clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
To a future architect. And to a brother who made it possible.
This bud's for you.
Man has always been fascinated with speed. But winning is more than a quest for speed. It's a measure of skill, a test of guts. And though NASCAR has changed through the decades, its spirit never will. It's not just the machine, it's the man who drives it. We're proud to be a part of this great sport. Busch, the official beer of NASCAR.
Don't win nothing for practice. Don't win nothing if you don't. Drew this one before. Kinda hoped it'd be the last time. All right, let's have it.
That's right.
For who?
After a long day of hard knocks, head for the beer that goes down smooth as a mountain stream.
Busch.
Here, this one don't buck so hard.
Head for the mountains of Busch. Beer.
All right, we're back here to the Cruisin Classics Retro 87 Series. Darlington in the books. Jesse Whittington, your winner, as we'll take a look at your results. Whittington takes the top spot after starting in 5th. Brandon Evans, though, one of the biggest drives through the field by far, 18th to 2nd. Could not quite get there at the end, but comes home with a great finish. J. Cam fires back to 3rd after that crazy restart. And Patrick Drabbit kind of finished. He gets up to 4th and kind of stayed there. And, just kind of was in 4th. Seemed like all night, but still a good finish. A great race for him. Dakota Floyd up front all race. Going to fall back to 5th there at the end. Andy Kurtz in 6th. Timothy Williams in 7th. Jamie Lipke in 8th. Travis Bieber in 9th. And Brent Bieber in 10th.
Only 8 cars on the lead lap to finish this one out. Back here in 11th is the 43 of Brock Price. You got the 71 of Daniel Parks finishing out in 12th. The 00 of Alan Smith in 13th on the night. Another driver with a good performance, up 8 positions there. Tyler White in the 63 will take home 14th, followed by another newcomer, the 52 of Kevin Orlando Jr., finishing out in 15th. The 99 of Brandon Wallace takes home 16th tonight. That's not going to help that top 5 in the point standing here, but hopefully a recovery in the coming races. Same for Ken Huber in the 40 machine. Not the night he wanted to see up front for so much of this race. And just travesty there with that weird restart, having a couple lap cars just ahead. Nicholas Pressey in the 04 takes home 18th, followed up by the 80 of Kevin Price in 19th. Last but not least, the top 20 finishes out with the 085 of James Goshen.
Rounding out the fields, Casey Jones in 21st, David Calvert in 22nd, and Ryan Pendleton must have had some technical issues or something tonight. He's going to finish in that 23rd position. Well, I'm ready for interviews. I'm ready to talk to these guys, and I want to talk with our winner, and that is Jesse Whittington. We got him into the booth now. Jesse, this is Eddie in the booth. You got a copy?
I got you, Eddie.
Well, man, hey, incredible race. I mean, Darlington in the past has been really good to you, and it seems to be a track that either you enjoy or you just kind of feel sort of a kinsmanship. I just think I made up a word. I don't think that's even a word, but you got it. If it's a word, you got it with this track tonight. No different. You started back in, I think, like 5th position. Pretty good qualifying effort. You dropped back a little bit. Seemed like you were saving your tires. What was your strategy at the start of the green flag?
I mean, to be honest with you, man, it's just one of those types of races where it typically goes green a long time. So my focus was just trying to save tires, and these tires fall off so much. So I literally backed my pace off by about 0.8 of a second at the beginning of the run, and I just was just trying to save. I feel horrible about what happened on that restart because I don't know if anybody's catching that 40 car with only 15 laps to go. But so, I mean, if it's got an asterisk next to it, it's got an asterisk. But I'm excited. I've never won in the 87 car. So it's always a good time catching a win in something new.
Yeah, for sure. And you've been really fast in these cars, so it was just a matter of time. But on that final restart, I mean, getting out front, so important, getting the lead, kind of walk us through that final little bit, that final, restart to get out there, get out front. What were you thinking as far as, how hard to push the car?
Yeah, to be honest with you, for me, it was just getting clean air. I know these cars really aren't horrible in dirty air, but I noticed the 24 every time we would enter turn 1, his car would slide up. He was hitting the wall with the right rear just about every time. So I was just trying to wait for my time to pounce, and whenever I pounced. And whenever we went down into turn 1 side by side, fresh tires, I was able to hold it low, get out ahead of them, and then I just figured I would do what I could to defend high, and it worked out. And whenever I saw Brandon and who was that 24 car? Whenever I saw them, Dakota. Whenever I saw Brandon and Dakota get side by side, it was a blessing in disguise, I guess you could say. So it was literally just all about trying to set some good laps. I was trying not to completely burn my stuff up, so um, just set good consistent laps. Don't get loose off the corner. Don't burn up my right rear. Don't get loose off the corner. I've lost a race here before. It was devastating getting loose off of the final corner. So yeah, that's all it came down to, is just doing everything in my power to make the right moves.
Well, you did. You made all the right moves at the right time, and man, it worked out for you. You're able to get the dub. So congratulations on the win, Jesse. And as always, who do you have to thank?
Uh, you see them on the hood of my car, minus 273 gloves on the back of the car, Luke Haley Music, um, Premier Setup Shop. I love those guys to death. They've really pushed me beyond my limits in any car that I climb in. Nubwo got a good headset, cheap headset on Amazon. You get about 80 hours of gameplay for a 3-hour charge, so definitely worth it if you want to look them up. And of course, I got to throw a shout out to my wife, my kids. They never complain whenever I come out here. Thanks to you, thanks to Goat Locker, everything that y'all do, and the show that y'all put on week in and week out. I'm excited to go back and watch this one, man.
Well, we definitely appreciate that. And again, Jesse, congratulations on a Darlington win in the 87. That's a prestigious event, a prestigious win for sure. So congratulations. Go celebrate.
Absolutely, man. You have a great night.
Well, there you have it. Your winner tonight. You can tell he is ready. I mean, he's enjoying the heck out of it. And of course, Logan, he is caught up with second place finish. Your biggest mover of the night, Brendan Evans.
Yeah, that's first of all, what an incredible drive, Brandon Evans. It's I mentioned it early in the broadcast about drivers that you kind of had a weird qualifying issue, I guess. Break us down here. Just what put us in this position to see the 39 pass 16 cars tonight and get up here on the podium?
Well, I didn't adjust my brake bias from practice, and so and I tried to cook it on on qualifying and wiped out. Hit the wall in the first lap and thought I could recover and throw down a decent second lap, but I didn't. Maybe if I'd have qualified one position better, I would have won tonight.
Well, hindsight's 2020 on that, but still a fantastic drive regardless. Again, starting out in 18th, finishing out here in second. It was just the drive of a lifetime here tonight. And how difficult was that to complete all those passes at such a tough track? I mean, it's got the nickname the track too tough to tame for a reason.
Yeah, Darlington is interesting because most tracks are predictable with how cars get around the racetrack, but with Darlington, you have no idea. Even though you know the preferred lane, you have no idea what the car in front of you is going to do. You don't know if they're going to run the high line. You don't know if they're going to run the low line and slide up. You don't know if they're going to bust loose and hit the fence. So it's just a confidence thing that you have to get a big enough run, throw it in there, and have confidence that you're going to be able to slow it down. The low line was working for me, so I knew when those guys started moving up to the top, you just have to capitalize it. I think I was listening to the broadcast and heard Eddie say it, like once the moment hits, like you got to go. You can't sandbag it for sure, because then the next guy behind you's coming. So I think just being able to time all the passes whenever they happened worked out for me. And then those guys racing up front just slow each other down. The tire fall off was pretty heavy, but running side by side is just so much slower. I mean, 3, 4, 5 tenths a lap slower. So you just got to capitalize on those moments.
Well, confidence was of no shortage for you tonight. Again, 16 cars passed to get up here on the podium. Brandon Evans, you're no stranger to it. You know what's next. Who do you have to say thanks to?
Yeah, absolutely. Want to thank Jam Printing and Promotions. Want to thank Cruisin Classics for being the title sponsor of this series. I know I probably speak for all the drivers in the series this year that this has been an absolute blast. So great job to Goat Locker. Great job for V Speed and Eddie and you, Logan, in the booth. I want to thank Alexander PCs. Want to thank Above the Yellow Line, Premier Racing Setups. Um, who else? U.S. Army. Appreciate them too as well.
Naturally, of course. Well, congratulations once again, Brandon Evans. Get to celebrating, and we will see you next week in North Carolina at North Wilkesboro. See what you can do there.
Yes, sir. See you guys then.
Well, we've got our one podium finisher that had no laps led, taking home second place. Now we're going to hand it off to Eddie Smith, who's catching up with Jake Ham with 11 laps led.
Well, Jake, I mean, not the ending that you wanted, obviously. You were up front all night long. Obviously, you've got a couple wins on the season, and you come into this favorite. You kind of took your time early in the race. I know that it didn't end up the way you wanted to, but let's go back to the first part of the race where, you kind of had control. Dakota had control. Ken, all of you three were just kind of on top of each other. What was your strategy there? What were you trying to do? What was the goal early on?
Yeah, to play it out, the long game, at Darlington, you got to make sure that you have tires there for the long runs. And I knew that at some point in time there was, probably going to be an accident, but when you don't really know. And you push them too hard, too fast, you're going to put yourself in a really bad position on the long run. And just decided to kind of take it nice and easy. Yeah, we were all running, top three there for a while, making a pretty sizable gap, I felt like. And then we had a couple of back markers that came into play, which spiced it up a little bit.
Yeah, and obviously when that happened, you had contact. Ken Huber had contact. He's out of the race, and then you kind of go back to a few spots back, and then what's your mindset there? Is it anger? Is it frustration? What's driving you in those moments? Because I know I go through the same thing. It's once that happens, you kind of turn into you remember, I don't know if you ever watched cartoons, but the Tasmanian Devil, when he starts spinning, that's what I become when I get mad, in a situation. So what drives you in those moments when stuff like that happens, and it just seems like you were just unbelievably fast there at the end?
Yeah, to be honest with you, normally I got Mike Browning in here. He kind of puts me at peace a little bit, kind of talks me off a ledge a little bit. But I tell you what, there were a couple incidents where, Ken had to fight getting around a lap car, which unbelievable watching that, just couldn't believe it. And then I was like, he's gonna do it, send it into turn one, and ended up getting kind of out of shape there. I think that kind of smoked my tires a little bit. And then there at the end, the whole ordeal with Price and him smacking the wall, hitting me, it's just uncalled for. He's not racing for anything in that situation, and probably should have moved out of the way. I just wish that the back markers that weren't racing for a position would have been a little bit more courteous, or at least going into the corners. But in that situation, you can get huffy puffy all you want, but I will tell you, when I got wrecked up with the lap cars there at the very end, got my fast repairs, I was on a tear. I wasn't gonna slow down for anybody. I was happy that I was able to get the car around. I didn't have to tow, get the fast repair, get back out there, but I still had to start from the back, and I wasn't waiting for nothing. I had the only chance of getting a podium was go. I couldn't save anything, and ended up playing in my favor. At least got top three.
Yeah, for sure. It was fun to watch you come up through there. A lot of battling going on that kind of even just sort of helped. It'd been nicer if Jesse and Brandon was in that battle. Maybe had a shot at the win, but they were gone by the time you got through all that mess. But
Yeah.
man, incredible race. You have been putting on a show all season long, and you continue to do so tonight. Just incredible racing all the way throughout. This whole field just so much fun to watch. And you come home in third. So congratulations to that. And the floor is
Thank
yours,
you.
man. Who you got to thank?
iRacing allowing us to platform, super cool to be able to come on here above the yellow line, sim motion, save 22. And then most importantly, my fam, people that come out, watch this. It's just fun to go back and watch the broadcast. You guys obviously for hosting it. Love to be able to go back and check out the broadcast, listen to everything. It's fun hearing my name. I appreciate that. And but this week I'm definitely not thinking Kevin Price or I don't even know, Tyler Smith 15 or whoever that guy is. Definitely not thinking them. But thanks for everybody else. Appreciate it. Looking forward to the next race.
All right, there you have it. J Cam comes home in third and not thinking, folks. Hey, that's that passion that we're looking for, Logan. We love to see it. And that's what we got tonight. Incredible race. I mean, a little bumpy, so I'll go ahead and apologize. You never should do this, but I am going to apologize for a little bit of mistakes in the. It's been a while since I've led and produced at the same time here, and so thank y'all for being patient with me. Logan, taking the reins and making it something great. So first off, I want to say we miss you, Jake, or we cannot wait for Jake Reeves to come back and join us here. But brand new kid, so congratulations to him. Congratulations to you out there, buddy. I know y'all been ready for this, excited. But Logan, got a race here tonight that was incredible. We talked about it. The racing has been unbelievable, and it hasn't stopped. I don't think it will at this point.
No, it definitely won't. We've got a stacked lineup for the next 3 races, and I'm just going to go ahead and get it out here because it's on my mind. Jake's not here, so we're going to pay a little homage to him. But after that interview, I think we got some beef.
We got some beef.
That was pretty spicy there coming from Jake Ham. So be very interesting to keep an eye on him and how he reacts with those drivers that he's clearly upset with tonight going through the next couple of races. But it's going to be a fun next 3 weeks. I can't wait to see how this all settles out. Old Atlanta is going to be spicy.
Yeah, Ken Huber, unfortunately, tonight's race didn't help him in the championship standing. So we'll see how it plays out. Jake Ham's going to have a bad race, I think, for him to kind of give this up. He's been just so solid all season long. So I'm interested to see if he can continue that trend or if, Ken can finally get that win. I'm excited to see how this season's going to play out. Just incredible job by the drivers tonight. Got to thank our sponsors, Cruisin Classics, Lincoln Tech, Save 22, Jam Printing and Promotions, Alexander PCs, Above the Yellow Line Media, all the folks that make it possible. And of course, Pat and Jamie over at Goat Locker. The whole reason why we're here is for veterans and taking care of veterans, having a place for veterans to come and hang out, race, have that camaraderie. Also, sim rigs that are being given to deserving veterans who in Indiana and Ohio. Just great things that Go Locker has done, and I don't see them stopping anytime soon. Number 10 they gave out to Alexander Sexhauer. Really cool. He was on track Saturday night racing at Le Mans in the rain. His first race of the season, our first race ever on iRacing was in Le Mans in the rain for 2 hours, and he said he had a blast. So, hey, look, a lot of good things are happening here at Go Locker. If you're not a part of it, you want to be a part of it, jump in, be a part of. You want to see something done differently, get your butt in here and make it happen. This is some awesome racing every single week. This summer series is supposed to be just a fun series, but it's turned into one of the most competitive series across the board. Tomorrow night, you got Lincoln Tech's IndyCar series, which has been amazing. And I cannot wait to see how the race goes. But thanks to everybody over at V-Speed. We cannot do it without Adam Baker, Bradley Cooper, all the guys over there that do so much great work and make all this possible, has built this from the ground up and given us a vehicle to drive that is it's quite nice, honestly. It's like getting in a sweet brand new BMW over here at V-Speed. I tell you, I've been in some jalopy, some things that I've made. I've stitched together a few things. It's not been great, but you get in a car that Adam Baker, Bradley Cooper put together, it is a monster. So, just thank y'all for watching. Thank everybody for being a part of it. And, hey, next week, North Wilkesboro, that's going to be a blast. So you want to be there for that. We'll see y'all then. Y'all have fun. And, dadgummit, it's going to be a good one. Okay, mics are off. Good Lord. Get me off this damn broadcast.